Guys, it's Kirsten Liebelt. Yay, good to see you. We are back. I don't know if you guys caught Friday or not, but jumped on Friday and we chatted a little bit before the weekend, and now we're back for a full week. Very excited to be here with you guys. So today I kind of wanted to do a little bit of a wrap up from the weekend, so to speak, meaning like why you're stuck after the weekend and the fix that nobody talks about. And you guys, you know, we talk about insulin resistance every single day. So I don't know if you guys remember, I mean, a lot of you do, but we've been doing this Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, like since a year ago, February. That's a long time. So I hope that you always feel like you have a place for encouragement and to be able to move forward. You know, I always tell people, the fact that I lost 3 sizes in my 50s using the lens of insulin resistance, that's not the news story. The news story is that I've kept it off. I'm just telling you, like, you know, when you spend your life doing this, hello, oh, there's just nothing more frustrating, it seems like. I mean, I remember dieting from the youngest age possible. I think I was bribed to lose weight like when I was maybe 11. It just ridiculous. And I know somebody has said that to me on here before, that she used to go to Tops with her mom or with her grandma or whatever. And I remember Tops, and good morning, Terry. Good to see you. And I remember that whole diet culture being so heavy. You know, when you're raised in an Italian family and there's food everywhere and you eat for every reason under the sun, and then you're told to, you know, eat and then lose weight and then don't be too skinny and blah, 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 blah. And your brain is like, I remember just the roller coaster of, you know, it's the grapefruit diet and the cabbage soup diet. Which ones have you guys done, you know? And there are all of these diets that promise hope, like as though you're going to drop 10, 15, 20 pounds and it's going to stay off. I think it's a freaking joke when people say that whole food keto is not sustainable. Yes, it is. Oh, yes, it is, because you are looking at your world through the lens of insulin resistance. So I'm just here to be that example of, not only did I lose 3 sizes in my 50s, but I've kept it off. And I'm always on my journey, right? I'm still on my journey just like you guys are, right? So this week, today, good morning, Magda. Good to see you. I wanted to really kind of dive in just a tiny little bit about, you know, that thought process of over the weekend. Sometimes we feel like we just so deserve to take a break. We so deserve to have a treat and whatever. And I saw this reel this weekend, and I'll tell you what this reel was. Now, this is not what I teach at all, but this is her universe. And I thought, this is the same thing that I try to teach you in terms of mindset around knowing that you're not going to go cold turkey. I was never going to go cold turkey. And knowing that you want to do a journey without shame. I mean, is that even possible? Is it even possible? I mean, I think a lot of people would say, well, that's ridiculous. Why would you even think about that? Oh, it's very important. It's very important to you, and it's very important to your success. Because if you continue in shame over maybe something that you learned as a child, a way of life, a way of eating, a way of celebrating, a way of dealing with boredom, stress, exhaustion, lack of routine, fill in the blank. We eat for every reason under the sun, right? If you try to hold on to the shame that is there because maybe it's something that actually wasn't even a part of your control at the time, we're not going to go that deep into that today. That's usually in the group, Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. We can go deeper there. But if you try to hold on to that and move forward, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. So even after like a weekend, like we just had, let's just talk about it. Okay. And then we're just going to move forward. So I'm super excited to kind of chat with you, with y'all. I'm from Minnesota. So, you know, that doesn't even sound right, with y'all today about this. So why you're stuck after the weekend and the fix that no one talks about. So, you know, it's kind of like you get to the weekend, and I know what this feels like. I know exactly what it feels like. You've had a long week, you've worked really hard, whatever, and whatever your weekend is, whether it's a Monday, Tuesday, or it's a Saturday, Sunday, everybody's different. I get it. But you do feel like you want decompression and you want maybe to pause your mind. And a lot of times that involves food, etc. Okay. So you had good intentions going into the weekend. Maybe you didn't stick to the plan perfectly, but maybe you did okay. But now it's Monday and your pants are tighter. Your stomach feels puffy. Anybody? Anybody? You feel tired and that old voice is back. Why does this keep happening? Just kind of round and round. Well, I want to be the voice that says to you, you are not lazy. You are not weak. You're not broken. I promise you, but your body is sending you signals, okay? And they've been misunderstood for far too long. So oftentimes in the weekend, you know what, we get like less routine. Our body needs predictability to stay metabolically stable, but we just kind of are like a little off our game. I mean, I know this weekend, I don't know what you guys did, but I went like to the most amazing baby shower ever. And that would have been super tempting, you know, back a long time ago for a lot of different reasons. But I'm just saying, like, you get out of routine, you do things that aren't the same. Boom, 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 Monday through Friday, right? Your blood sugar spikes and then it crashes. You know, you have instant water retention, like, bam, where did that come from? There goes my bottle. Get it out of my way. I'm Italian. What do you want from me? I talk with my hands. Don't tie them behind my back. And fat storage signals, like this is what happens because we get off of our game and we think a little bit is okay. Or we listen to that person who says, you know, it's all about balance, honey. Honey, this is not sustainable, honey. And it's like, that's a lie. It is sustainable. But inflammation can accumulate really quickly. It just can. Now, again, no shame, right? Like put that away, crush it like a bug. Come on, no shame. But we have to talk about it anyway, nonetheless. Okay. So one cheat meal or a drink can inflame your gut lining, bloating, fatigue, your joints kind of stiffen up. You just, and maybe your bloat is making you think, oh, I feel like I gained 10 pounds over the weekend. You know, in your brain that you didn't, but you feel like you did. And so then it can just lead to more self-sabotage, you know, etc. So especially in women with undiagnosed insulin resistance. If you're on my content, you either think that you are insulin resistant or you know that you are insulin resistant. And your body then just holds on to everything. So you just have to recognize the land that you're living in. And once you recognize that, everything changes. So the reel that I was watching on the weekend, she actually is, she's a young girl, maybe in her 30s, maybe around 40. I don't remember. I don't want to offend her because I don't know. Like I'm 60, so you know, age then changes. Everybody looks like, you know, whatever. It's different. Just trust me. So she had bariatric surgery a long, long time ago, like at least a decade ago. I think a decade ago. And you know, having bariatric surgery does not fix your food addiction, right? As you can imagine. So the way that she has worked around that for herself, knowing that she needs to eat smaller portions because of the surgery, but she also doesn't want to gain the weight back because she just refuses. I think she's lost like 200 pounds. So it's substantial. But the way that she deals with it is that she allows herself like this 3-bite rule that she's talking about, etc. So she's saying basically the old adage, which I'm not against in what she's saying for her. I teach it differently. So just track with me because I am not recommending what she says. But she says, if I deny myself everything, then I will not survive. Okay, so she does a 3-bite rule and it's working for her and it's a strategy. My story has been that when I talk to you guys about this is that you don't fix the emotional, the mental or the emotional or the boredom or the stress or the anxiety or the celebration or the mourning you don't fix all of those reasons for eating overnight. I mean, come on, we're being serious, right? Are we being like real friends today? Let's be real friends. That doesn't get fixed overnight, does it? However, what you can do is you can have remember we talk about the 2 different pantries. I would love to know, would anybody want to have more content around the things that should go into your pantry. Would that help people? I've done a poll like that in the group before, and that has been something that you guys have said that you want more of. Just put a yes in the comments if that's something that you would like more of, meaning like individual trade out ingredients, things like that. But you trade out one pantry for another pantry. You still make the foods that you love. You're just using a different pantry. And so therefore, if everything in your circle is made out of pantry, let's say B instead of pantry A, which is the one that you had, if everything's being made out of pantry B, then when it comes to emotional eating, stress, anxiety, celebration, funerals, all of the different things, boredom, you can then, I can feel my ring is moving around on me too much there. Okay. Don't mind me, just switching things around here. Kind of bugs me. Anyway, you're still, without shame, you're still allowing yourself this universe where you can gray those edges within your same pantry. And so the fallout isn't there. It's not the same while you're working on you. Hi, good to see you, Jody. Oh, Jody. Thank you for telling me that that's you, Jody. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. I appreciate that. I love that. Jody's in the house. Good to see you, Jody. And Cheryl wants information on that more. Good to see you, Cheryl. I hope you're doing well. I hope your weekend went well. Oh, I love it when my friends come. Okay, so I know, right? Well, because, everybody's got different handles and stuff like that. So going back to that whole concept. So this is literally, and what struck me about what she said was this. In one of her videos, she said, you guys, you have to understand, I've been doing this for 10 years. I have it dialed in. This isn't my first rodeo. But her point is, if I can do it, you can do it. And I thought, that's my message. Listen, I started a little over 10 years ago. So you have to stop having a weekend thought process. I'm going to fix everything by October, by Saturday, I'm just going to fix everything all at once. And it doesn't, Jan, good to see you. It doesn't work that way. We have a lot of complicated things inside of our brains and stories and limiting beliefs and maybe sentences or paragraphs that people have said to us when we were growing up, and they kind of rattle around in our brains and they hold us back from actually nailing it. So the fact that I've lost 3 sizes in my 50s is not the news story. The fact that I have now kept it off is the story. I really want you to understand that. Did you know that if you'll just shift the way you view your weight loss, if you will shift the way you're viewing everything, and I'll tell you exactly what I did. I don't do any gatekeeping. If you shift that, you can actually lose the weight and keep it off. You can actually get off meds and stay off meds. You can actually up your function and your ability to move around in life at a greater degree so that you can actually make more memories. I just went on a vacation it was a business incentive trip last week. And my biggest non-scale victory in my life is that I fly, walk, sleep, airport run, do everything, and I do not have one swollen ankle the entire time. For me, boom, what are you even talking about? How is that possible? Aren't we not just aging? No, it's not aging. It's insulin resistance causing all of the problems inside of your body. In my opinion, I am not a doctor. I just play one on TV. I'm just kidding. I don't. But I'm just saying, no, there's this root cause. There's a trunk of the tree. Oh, and if we can change our lens, if we can take off this pair of glasses, put on another pair of glasses and go, oh, I'm going to eat through the lens of insulin resistance. I'm going to, I'm going to pay attention to everything that I do through that lens. I'm going to supplement through the lens of insulin resistance. I'm going to build a pantry around my insulin resistance. And you're going to be able to love your life, move forward in the areas you want to move forward in, and be like, this is so much easier than I thought. I thought this was going to be so hard. But listen, if I can do it, you can do it. because I know where I came from. 2X, Italian. Like, are you kidding me? I was never going to trade out my foods. Don't be ridiculous. Terry says, yes, she's maintaining weight loss is awesome, but feeling in control of my body is even better. I'm putting that up, Terry. You know I am. Feeling in control of your body. It feels so good. I wish that I could explain to you what that feels like. I make sure there's room in my luggage. I'm not going to go through it right this minute, but this is like that total body reset that I talk about. It's all in my luggage. In fact, I had put my gut primer in a glass jar. This was an old Parmesan jar. This is how much I love. This turned out to be a beautiful tip. So just to let you know, this is a great way to travel. Anyway, I know it's a little heavy, right? But it was not that much. Anyway, that was a really great tip. So having your ability to know that you're going to go through your vacation and you're not going to be constipated, or that you're not going to feel like trash when everybody else they're crashing hard to the ground because of what they just ate at dinner. They can't stay awake. They feel so fatigued, waking up with puffy faces and whatever. And it doesn't exist in my world. And that's not because I'm perfect. It's just because I've learned. And you can too. So, when you have this off weekend, like we were just saying, you can come to Monday, realize you had a rhythm disruption, your inflammation is accumulating, your cortisol stays elevated. Weekends aren't always relaxing. We want them to be, but they aren't. There are family dynamics, there's obligations, there's busy schedules. So high cortisol and high insulin resistance, or high insulin, equals fat storage. Fat storage. When your insulin is high, your cortisol is high, that's the belly. You guys, it's the cortisol and the insulin belly. And that's just the way and hips. Hips has been my hips. What am I going to say? Like, that's been the area. That's why when I talk about the fat burner, when I get to that conversation with people, I'm like, I never thought I was going to be able to lose on my hips. I thought I did. Here I am talking about not having limiting beliefs, and I had my own limiting belief. Crazy as it may be, but your gut health will slow down everything then, right? So weekend food, often it's higher in sugar, seed oils, or alcohol. Hopefully you're able to avoid, right? And your gut microbes shift in 72 hours. Bam! Doesn't take much, right? Then you have sluggish digestion. Everything slows down. You're bloated. You're constipated. You're fatigued. You have low serotonin, so you're not as happy. Like, everything begins to shift. And then you basically hit Monday and you're like, that's it. I'm going to ramp it up. And you get to Thursday, you're feeling good. And then Friday, you're going to celebrate all over again. Ask me how I know. Come on, people, right? Ask me how I know. So, you're thinking to yourself, why can't I just stick to it? What is wrong with me? Is that kind of a thought process inside of your own brain? Like, what's the point of trying if I gain weight from one off day? I should be able to, it's all about balance. This is ridiculous. I used to be able to fill in the blank, and why can't I anymore? And we just keep going around and around, right? I must be broken is another one. Nothing works for me. Nothing works for me. I'm broken. Is that a thought in your head? It's a lot of things that I hear in my chat with you guys in my back alleys. I'll just eat whatever until next Monday and try again. Oh, you guys have no idea how I understand this. I wish I had more willpower. This is so embarrassing. I know better. Which one of these is resonating with you? I'd love to know. What if I told you this isn't about willpower? None of this is about willpower. What if I told you that? What would that make you think? Would you think to yourself, you're lying or you're crazy? But this is about chemistry. It's not about your character. Okay. It's not about your character. You're lazy. You're undisciplined. You don't have any willpower. What's wrong with you? It's not about, that's your character. That's not true. Let's like push that aside and go to, this is about chemistry. Okay. Let's have that conversation then. So what's actually going wrong? Insulin resistance is super sneaky, you guys. And it's something that we don't talk about enough in our society. It's getting better, but then they're not really giving you any answers. They're not giving you any conversation that's actually helping. Okay. So insulin resistance is super sneaky. You don't need to be diagnosed to have it. I shouldn't say I was never diagnosed. By the time I chose to deal with it, when I was close to my 50s, I was too scared to go in and get anything diagnosed, because you have to understand, my dad, type 2, Italian, heart issues, kidney dialysis, dead at 63. So when I'm 30 at the time that he dies, so by the time I'm almost 50, 20 freaking years later, let that sink in. My mom won't leave me alone about my weight, because now I'm a 2X, and she's like, Kirsten, like, what are you doing? Hello? Anybody home? Do you go to the doctor? All of those things. So I was too scared at that point. However, let's go back almost 30 years. Almost, not quite. 25. Let's do 25. I'm 22 years old. I'm having my first baby. Oh, look at there. You're gestational diabetic. Ding, 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 ding. Taking my blood 4 times a day. That's when I should have gone, But I didn't, because I wasn't in the mood to be responsible. I wasn't in the mood to be accountable. I wasn't nothing. I didn't do any research, nothing. And these videos like this never existed. So, there's that too. However, just thinking about how ridiculous that is, that I truly did nothing like with that diagnosis. So, 25 years prior, I didn't do anything. Now, okay, so I'm in my upper 40s, and I finally decided I'm going to do something about it, but I didn't go and get diagnosed at that time. So I already have that. Doesn't matter though. You don't need to be diagnosed to have it. Let's just talk about, are you fatigued? Are you having weight gain, brain fog, cravings? These are signs that your cells are blocking insulin. They're blocking insulin. Remember the conversation? You raise your sugar, your pancreas releases insulin to go get the sugar to bring it into your cell for fuel. It's like going and picking up the wood and putting it in the wood stove. And it wants to go and do that all day long, but the wood stove is full, and like the handle is down and the door is locked. And that's what insulin resistance is. And your cell goes, no, thank you, go away. That's what's happening. So then you're feeling fatigued, you're gaining weight because it's a fat storing hormone. Your brain fog is off the charts. Mine was bonkers when I had no idea it was connected to insulin resistance, like none. Your cravings are out of control, and you're thinking, what's wrong with me? And I just crave and I crave and I crave and I crave. It's because your body is doing the same thing over and over and over again. Picking up glucose, hitting a locked door, storing it as fat, grabbing the glucose, hitting the locked door, everything is falling apart in that arena. Does that make sense? So when that happens, your body stores every healthy food as fat. Fat, 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 fat. Let's go. Let's get after it. Belly fat, back fat, fat between your knees. Like, where can we put it? Put it in your liver. Oh, let's see. Where else can we put it? And it goes crazy. And that's why insulin resistance is the beginning of the craziness of gaining weight, the craziness of fatty liver, the craziness of visceral fat, right? So your cortisol is also blocking fat burning. So both cortisol and insulin, they are hormones. They are hormones, and they're blocking your fat burn. So it's going to keep grabbing the glucose that you're giving it. Sugar for fuel, and it never gets to burning fat. Never. That's what happens to your body. So it signals your body to preserve fat, and especially in your belly. I'm sorry. It's frustrating. And I know even if you eat less, you burn slower. Doesn't matter. Has nothing to do with that. I mean, calories play a role, but that's a different conversation. And then your gut health, your metabolic health is all upside down. So an inflamed gut can trigger estrogen dominance, poor detoxification, serotonin loss, sugar cravings, and that bloated Monday morning feeling that you might be feeling today is a microbiome flare-up. That's what is going on. You're feeling all like bloated and icky, maybe after the weekend. You might not be. I'm not, but I could have been, right? Easy. I'm just saying, because I do my own stuff, right? So like if I had a bad weekend, maybe it would have been filled with like keto treats, like all over the place, like almond flour coming out my ears or mixed nuts all over. Who knows what? Everybody's different. Some people get really bloated from dairy, etc. Everybody's got their stuff. So I'm just telling you, but, oh, I didn't take that down, Terry. Sorry. Stinky, stinky, stinky. I should have remembered that. I was on a different screen, people. But that bloated feeling is like, it's a flare up. It's an inflammatory flare up. Terry says that her husband was was over the weekend, and you were with him round the clock, and you were still able to plan and eat foods that are good for your insulin resistance. Terry, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. I will put that up for just a second, then I'll stay on my screen. I really appreciate you saying that, because what happened to me, you guys, is over time. That's why I love that girl sharing that. She's like, listen, you guys, it's not my first rodeo. I've been doing this for 10 years. You actually do get to the point. This is why I want you to have so much hope in your heart. I want you to feel encouraged. I want you to feel like there is an ability to get to a place where you actually have a rhythm that does not get disrupted very easily. Has it dawned on you that this is where it's headed? This is where you're headed. You're headed to, yep, you're right. You hit choppy waters and you're like, and then maybe there's a little longer in between and a little longer in between and another tool in your toolbox to deal with it, etc. Right? I'm just telling you. Hold on. Instagram, you're going to go away for just a second. Hold on. I have to text my husband. I'm being summoned. Okay. All right, there we go. So that is where you're headed. I want you to know that you're headed in a really good place. So the path that actually works to get you out of this is twofold, and I talk about it all the time. I'm going to grab a drink of water. And basically, it's the two things that I teach. And I always say, aren't you glad it's not 50 things? Aren't you glad that it's not a lot more than that? I started with targeted supplementation because I was not willing to trade out my foods. I was not. So I started there. You can start there too if you want to. Some of you start with food. Terry started with food and then she added in the supplementation. You can choose the way that you want your journey to go. Not everybody is looking for acceleration right away, and not everybody's brain works the exact same way, right? And so I teach both the ingredient trade outs and I teach the targeted supplementation, because you have to get your engine like up and running from the inside out at some point. And again, I tell people you can do it with food alone. It just takes maybe longer to do it. That's okay. That's up to the different person, that what you want, right? So when I talk about supplementation, I have 3 pillars that I talk about. There are always add-ons, you guys, and I have those add-ons. And somebody can be like, I just want a vitamin D, and that's fine. And you can do that. And, they have really, if you register as a customer, you can have really inexpensive shipping on just little bits and pieces. That's no problem, right? But if you want to do like free shipping, etc., and get like the customer campaign benefits where you get paid to get healthy. That's that 150 campaign where every 3 months over 150, you get $75 back in your pocket. You're getting paid to get healthy. But what I talk about is I started here when I was a 2X. I started with these 3. These are the targeted supplements of insulin that help insulin resistance. These are the trio. This one right here, the glucose one, it's out of stock. I have it inventoried in my home. So don't let this stop you. This has happened many times. It's just extremely popular. This is like your little natural O, Z, E, M. You know what I mean? So it helps to bring down sugars, insulin, sugar cravings, and appetite. You can understand why that's popular. Very, very popular. So it's out of stock, but I have it. in my inventory, and I'm shipping it out to people all the time. So anyway, point being that that's the trio. Those are the 3 that I started with. And on these 2, you just take twice a day. This one is 3 times a day. I know it says to take it 30 to 45 minutes before you eat. That's if you really want help with that appetite control, but otherwise just take it as soon as you remember. It's okay. Get the trace minerals in your body. Get what you need, the raw materials, in order to bring everything down and to help you out. And you will notice less sugar cravings and more appetite control, but it's better than that. Most people are not getting their fasting insulin. So you got to get that insulin down in order to lose fat. That's the chemistry and not the character that we're talking about. Chemistry, not character. Okay. So get that into your head. The second pillar that I talk about is the gut reset protocol. That's having the greens, the 6 products inside of 1 tub, greens and the probiotic together. This is literally the most comprehensive product that you've probably ever seen. From the fermented greens, alkaline spices, digestive enzymes, it's literally all in here. This is not just like, here, have some greens and add it to your smoothie. This is very comprehensive. So anybody that's looking for help with leaky gut, you don't have a gallbladder, indigestion, constipation. I have somebody that has a short gut syndrome. So that means that there was a lot of diarrhea going on, things like that. This is very comprehensive. I'm trying to get that back on there. And then the probiotic is separate because probiotics, when they are done correctly, they are alive. And you don't want them to get messed with. You want them to stay alive. So this is something I put on my tongue every morning, just like this. So I scoop this, 1 little scoop. This is what I was showing you in my glass jar that I took with me on my trip. 1 little scoop, and I put it in cold water, just short, and I take it like a wellness shot. Tastes like tea. I'm just not a tea person. So it's like, because I shook it. It's like turmeric-y, gingery powder, right? But what it does to your insides, you guys, like let's begin that process of healing and sealing your gut so that everything else can get better. And then the last one is the fat burner. This is the orange pixie stick. It tastes like candy, and you put it on your tongue and it tastes just like an orange pixie stick. Do it for 90 days and then take 30 days off. 1 box is a month. And I just tell people, like, if you know you need to target your visceral fat, this is where all the inches are coming from. So knowing that there are 3 pillars, the trio is pillar 1. The gut reset protocol is another pillar, pillar 2, and then this is pillar 3. This is what I started with because I didn't have anything else. This is everything else that I've sourced now is because of things being launched. And I know not everything is in Canada, so I apologize to the Canadian people. But those 3 pillars, that is what has shifted my body the most. And I'm getting the best results with you, the best. So you can always let me know that you want a customized cart for yourself. Listen, Kirsten, I heard you on the live talking about, I just want to know about the trio. That's all I want to know about. Or I want to know about that fat burner and that gut reset protocol. And you can tell me kind of what's going on and we can dissect what would be best for you. Okay. You don't have to like throw everything to the wind and say, well, you know, since I can't do everything, I will do nothing. You don't have to do that. And I'm always available for helping you. I can put a cart, I'll put your name on it, I'll send it to you. We can discuss, we can chat amongst ourselves, so to speak. But I will also do a phone consult if somebody needs that too, just to let you know, because it's so much better for you to get started than to do nothing at all. The next challenge in the group will be July 7th through the 11th, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. The group is called Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. Don't miss out on that. This is how you can string together months that give you success. And before you know it, like Terry had done, you've done like a bazillion challenges in a row. You've lost over 45 pounds. You navigate the hospital that your husband was just in without totally like derailing your efforts. Like, do you understand what a big deal that is when you can see yourself actually navigating stress, lack of routine, and a different environment altogether that requires thought process, right? Because you know you're not going to eat out of a vending machine. And she did all of that. She did all of that. I think it's been about a year now for Terry. Do you understand this is where you're headed? This is where you're going. I will help you go there where Terry is. That's what I do, because I'm telling you, if you can turn back your insulin resistance, man, the world is your freaking oyster. I'm not kidding. That's how passionate I feel about this. Like, you can avoid so much cuckoo banananess in your world, from doctor's appointments and medications and feeling like trash all the time and belly fat gone wild and, clothes that don't fit and swollen ankles and brain fog, and it goes on. You can avoid all of that. You can turn it back. You can turn it back. They're just not going to tell you that. They have a vested interest in the PHARMA companies. They probably all own stock. So I'm just telling you, like, you have to really think differently, but I'll help you think differently. Okay. So I'll be back here again tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Woohoo! Every day, Monday through Friday. And I'm very excited. If you need anything, let me know. Reach out, message me in Messenger, get into my inbox on Instagram. TikTok, you can message me. If you want a direct link to anything, we'll have to email or do something different. But you guys have such a blessed day, okay? It's so good to be back. It's good to see you guys. And we are barreling into the 4th of July, right? We're barreling. So do not sabotage yourself now. Now is when you get started. Now is when you get going, so that you can have a level of, like, a safety net with you as you start to navigate some of that. So you're welcome, Meg. Would love to know where Terry is. You would love to get where Terry is. Yes, I agree with you, Joanne. I agree. And I'm telling you, you absolutely can. You've actually come a very long way, Joanne. Don't be hard on yourself. You've come a very long way. So, but yep, I'm telling you, it's so doable. I never thought it was. And nobody ever told me this. So I'm just going to tell you guys. All right. See you later. Have the best day ever. Terry, you're an inspiration. Look at there, girl.